readers can really benefit from Poor Yorick because the content that Poor Yorick publishes is very unique. The focus is on pieces that are inspired by historical artifacts and items that we don't necessarily see very often or that we may not know about. So when you have a piece of fiction or a piece of poetry that sort of stand alone and we don't really understand what the inspiration is for them, that's a really great piece of writing and we can certainly enjoy it. But when we have that historical context or that piece of material culture that inspired the piece and inspired the writer, we can also get a better sense of where the story is coming from, and I think it makes the reading experience a lot better.
The purpose of starting Poor Yorick was really twofold. One was to really highlight the MFA program at Western Connecticut State University and a lot of the exciting things that were going there. And then secondly, and almost more importantly, was really to bring to light these kind of stories, to really dedicate ourselves to finding writing that was inspired by lost and forgotten objects and by history. And it was something that there really wasn't another journal doing at the time and still isn't.
One of the best things about working for Poor Yorick is the discovery, the sense of discovery that you get. You'll read a poem and it'll really hit you how fascinating something is. And you would never maybe think to look at something that way or have such an emotional connection to a historical object. But artists, writers spark that within you.
One of the interesting things about Poor Yorick is that the staff doesn't just choose material to publish on its own. They also have images that go with each piece that's published, and they do interviews and side essays, informational essays that go along with each piece. So it's not your normal, here's the piece, enjoy. There's also supplemental material, images and interviews and essays that go along with each piece to provide the reader with some background information and some context.
Poor Yorick provides for its audience a lot of services, I think, that they don't find any other place. A historic literary journal is an outlet for the kinds of storytelling that I hope that all historians use, because it's such an interdisciplinary journal, because its reach is so much farther than I think most people realize. It's open to all sorts of production, so I think maybe that's one of its secrets.
So the web design is unique for our journal because if you go on our homepage, you'll notice that most of the poetry and the fiction and the nonfiction pieces they exist as an image first, and so it's very visual, and so you get a sense that you're looking into a picture of the past, so to speak, and that's what I like about it. And so you'll click the picture and you go into the actual poem or piece of fiction.
In terms of submitting to Poor Yorick, what is the piece of fiction, the piece of poetry, the art piece, the photography piece? What is that really doing in terms of bringing that artifact or that piece of history to life?
You can submit to Poor Yorick through Submittable, and we accept photography, creative nonfiction, fiction, and poetry.
So I think submitters will find that the inspiration that they had and that thing that we usually tuck away as writers and we kind of keep off to the side and we don't get to bring to the reader, they'll find that that's a very rewarding experience.
A great experience I had was in a piece, What Rises from Remains, where I was able to engage with an artist on an exhibition that they were doing, and we created a piece in Haibon, which is an ancient form of travel poetry. It was incredible creating an interview in Haibon, actually being able to, I'm a poet, so being able to use poetry in an interview question-answer type format was just incredible.